Hey, Divine Ones. I oh, Hey, Divine Ones. I just finished my Q&A, but I just had something else that I wanted to add. A story that I wanted to share with you about, before I met Anam, my husband in New York. I was dating this guy who when I say I really liked, it was such a top level like. I thought he was attractive. He lived on the Upper East Side. He took me for nice dinners. He was a really good kisser. But the guy was so not my guy. And he was just out of, like, he just got separated. He had children. He was like in all sorts. And he showed me from the very beginning that he wasn't ready. And I was like, you know what? I can get you ready. Like, it's just, I know I can change this guy. I know that and I was really taking him on as a project. And one of the things he said to me in the line with the conversation of this week's Q&A, which is, feeling like we're too much or feeling like people they just don't get us. When I was playing Hillary Clinton in a one-woman show off Broadway in New York, this guy, before I met Anam, was like, I just don't feel comfortable coming to your show and seeing you as Hillary. Like, that would just be really, really weird. So why don't you do the show, and then when you're done with that, we can get back together. Can you even deal with how fucking mental that is? And I was just like, what? But because I was in such a place of like not feeling worthy and, really wanting this to work, part of me even considered that. I was like, oh, well, he just doesn't get it. Like, he just doesn't understand like the acting version of me. So I should just go and do that. And then, when I'm done, I could get in touch with him again. And then I had like a major like wake up call. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, I am never dimming my light. Like, fuck you. And that was kind of like a turning point for me where I was like, this is so not my person. And honestly, it was after that I actually, I'd already been doing tons and tons of work on myself, but it just still was not working clearly in relationships. I was attracting in a guy that didn't want to commit, didn't want to see me in my full-fledged, like, unapologetic acting self. He wanted me in this, certain way of being the good dinner date. Hello, get another handbag. Go and buy a handbag, because that's not me. And so that was it was a good lesson that came right up in my face, that showed me how out of alignment I was. And it was then that I did the real deep dive into my heart, where I was truly ready to actually start showing up as authentically me. And that was when the next guy that came into my life was my husband. And it was because I needed to learn that final lesson and to do this deep work, which I did profoundly, which is now what I teach. And I met Anam 2.5 months after that relationship. And it turned out that Anam came in just before my one-woman show went up off Broadway, and Anam was all in. He was printing off the playbills, handing them out to everyone. He was at every single show that I did. He brought food to me at my rehearsals. Like, he was the epitome of being all in, and the exact polar opposite of what I was with before I actually got myself integrated in my heart space, integrated in my feminine, integrated in my power, into that unapologetic version of myself. And so I just wanted to share that story, because I got so carried away on the Q&A before, but it's very, very potent, because he wasn't accepting me for all of who I was. And he was just kind of like, oh, I'm not sure about seeing you, that version of you being on stage and playing Hillary. Like, that was uncomfortable for him. And it just is speaking to how uncomfortable he was with himself, He needed me to look and be a certain way. It's like, sorry, dude, don't fit into your cardboard, cookie cutter cutout. Not going to happen. So really, this is a message to those of you that are hiding in that masculine energy. You've got all your bodyguards. You're trying to get it right. You've got all the bravado. You're a super accommodator, always wanting to please the guy, fit in with what they want. And this is blocking you from your soulmate relationship. You're, first of all, blocked within yourself, so you're not experiencing that deep connection to yourself, which feels fucking amazing and so divine. And when you don't have that connection to yourself, you're not able to connect with anyone else at that level either. You're robbing yourself of experiencing intimacy. And when I say intimacy, I don't mean sex. I mean, well, it can be sex, but it's more than that. It's when you're connecting on a soul level, like really being with that person, looking into their eyes, really kissing them, really feeling them and them feeling you. It's absolutely amazing. Many of my women will say to me they've never experienced that in this lifetime. They've had plenty of sex, but they're like, no, I've never had that feeling of being seen and held and loved. And you're also missing out right now on your chance at being a mum and having a family by staying in this current identity. You've got to be willing to shift that, to drop deeper into who you really are so that you can attract in your soulmate. And that requires authenticity, and it requires you really plugging into your sensuality and your beautiful magnetic feminine power. And you can't do a soulmate relationship without you being in a soulmate relationship with yourself first. So I just wanted to share that story with you. I'm just really excited for those of you that are ready to really step up and to bring who you truly are to the world, because you will attract in the love of your life, and you will also find yourself living on purpose. Because as I say to my women, you're like the 5-layer decadent cake with this amazing icing, and the man is just the cherry on top. Yeah? He's just one piece of the pie. You are what's important, and you've got to actually value and love yourself enough to really put yourself first and do this deep work. And then you're going to be a vibrational match to attract in that and more. Mwah!